Okay, I'm done. Done. Everything has been a lie.
That was conservative influencer Christian Walker, one of the many sons of candidate Herschel Walker, Georgia, following the revelation that he had once paid for an abortion to one of his many girlfriends. Now, the younger Walker, as you can see, it's part of that clip, lashed out on Twitter, several tweets, several videos in defense of, interestingly enough, the Daily Beast article and against his father and Republicans, taking Republican politicians and pundits to task. So now, let me read a tweet here and then show you a video. He said, every family member of Herschel Walker had asked him not to run for office because we all knew some of his past, every single one. He decided to give us a middle finger and air out all his dirty laundry in public while simultaneously lying about it. I'm done. That reminds me, by the way, of Paul Gosar. You remember Paul Gosar? Part of the insurrection caucus. His entire family ran ads against him. Like, all of his family member, they were like, do not elect Paul Gosar. He's insane. Please don't do it. You're trust me, you're going to regret it.
Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. I tell you, don't do it.
They didn't listen to him, and they elected Paul Gosar. And again, he's been one of the worst members of Congress who have been, in favor of literally stealing the election in behalf of Donald Trump. So that said, Republicans didn't care at all, about the stuff that his family had said about Gosar. So I'm not really expecting anything different when it comes to Republican voters in Georgia. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you some more of this video, more of this rant, because I think it's actually pretty good.
Family values, people. He has 4 kids, 4 different women, wasn't in the house raising one of them. He was out having sex with other women. Do you care about family values? Everything has been a lie. And so for the right to say I'm being suspicious for saying, hey, I'm done with the lies, when you all have been calling me saying, is this true about your dad? Gosh, we're not going to win Georgia, this candidate, all that's been you. You have no idea what I've been through in my life. You have no idea what me and my mom have survived. We could have ended this on day 1. We haven't. I haven't told any stories. I'm just saying, don't lie. Don't lie on my mom. Don't lie on me. Don't lie on the lives you've destroyed and act like you're some moral family man. Y'all should care about that, conservatives. We were told at the beginning of this he was going to get ahead of his past, hold himself accountable, all of these different things, and that would have been fine. Go ahead. He didn't do any of that. Everything's been a lie. Everything's been downplayed. Everything's been cutting corners. The whole thing. And whose expense is that at? Me, my mom, as we're chased down by the media. We're terrorized. All these different things. People are questioning my authenticity. I'm done. Don't lie. Don't put this on me. This is a candidate issue, not a me issue. I wouldn't have spoken out if there weren't all these lies every day.
Okay. Let me just say, I've been terrorized. Really? You've been terrorized. That said, look, a lot of what he says, I'm actually glad he's speaking out, because look, this guy been pretty insufferable as a conservative influencer. I'm pretty sure maybe that might end as a result of this, but let's go on to his criticisms of so-called family values Republicans. I love that. It's almost as if Christian Walker does not understand what the Republican Party is really about. You know what? If he doesn't, let me just tell him, right? It's not about family values. It's not about being pro-life. It's not. What it's about is distracting people with culture war issues, so that the ultimate goal is to cut taxes for the rich, corporations, and to deregulate industry. That's it. That's what they're always been about. Republicans are the side of the wealthy. The entire point of the Republican Party is to funnel money to the rich. And so that's what they truly, fight for, which is why Republicans have continued to back Walker, because Walker is, I mean, he's not really all that much there. And so he's going to, of course, support things like tax cuts, which, by the way, he's also incredibly wealthy. And so, yes, those tax cuts are going to help him, deregulation, etc. And he's one of those candidates, by the way, that also has no problem lying in order to get elected, and then voted for things that are going to help him when it comes to his class. It's class solidarity. Now, another thing that I found here very interesting is that Christian Walker says that he knows even more damaging information about his dad. Apparently, there are things that are worse than this now, and that it could have ended Walker's campaign early. I really can't imagine it getting that much worse than, what we know now. It really is amazing. But look, a couple of good points, by the way. Ben Goose points out that he only spoke up when things started affecting him. Well, that's what makes him conservative. And that's a really, really good point, because yes, when something affects them personally, when they start getting involved, now that's when I'm going to speak up. That said, the right wing, their reaction to this, they've been raging at Christian Walker for pointing this out, for essentially verifying these accusations, which in another segment, Herschel Walker himself called a complete lie and said he was going to sue the Daily Beast for defamation. Again, Walker verified this. The right wing is now, accusing him of being disingenuous, of lying, and not sticking up for or covering for his dad. Take a look.
People on the right are pulling up that I did a campaign event with my dad last year. They're saying, well, you supported him all last year and all this year. You look suspicious. No. You all have been calling me saying, why aren't you on the campaign trail with your dad? Why aren't you helping him out? This looks weird. You should go help him. And I've said to you calmly, I'm not getting involved. You don't know my family life. I did one event last year when we were told he was going to get ahead of his past and hold himself accountable. None of that happened. Everything's been a lie. So for me to tell you I'm not getting involved, and then you also be flooding my DMs and calling me saying, I didn't know all this about your dad, we're going to lose the Senate race. And then when I simply say, I'm done with the lies, you go, well, Christian looks suspicious. Excuse me? I haven't told one story about what I experienced with him. I'm just simply saying, don't lie. And then for certain political pundits to be pulling up old pictures I posted of my dad, thinking they can police and determine what my relationship with my dad was. If you want to pull stuff up, I'll pull stuff up. Don't try me. Don't test my authenticity. All of this has been a lie, and you've known it. You've known. So don't you dare.
So, look, this entire situation really gives a lot of insight into who Republicans choose to run in elections. I mean, he points out that, hey, look, everybody knew about what my dad was doing, about his past, and they decided to run him anyway. Why? Well, again, this looks really bad, right? But I would counter that by saying, why wouldn't they? And here's my example. Here's why I say that. Remember, it was Donald Trump who endorsed Herschel Walker, right? Donald Trump has been accused very credibly of doing a ton of terrible things, including cheating on his wife with a porn star while she was pregnant. Also doing alleged rape on E. Jean Carroll. There's also the tape where he admits to grabbing women by the genitals because they let me do it. And then, not only that, there's cheating a charity out of money. On and on and on and on and on. There's more scandals to Donald Trump than we can count. And yet, what do they do? What do Republicans do? Overwhelmingly support him. Overwhelmingly. I mean, they voted for him as president, and they're still with him, no matter what he does. And so, I mean, the Republican base and the operatives don't care as long as, the voters turn out. And the voters don't seem to care either, because the voters want their politicians to do what? Two things: fight the culture wars and own the libs. And that suits the donors just fine, because the donors, they, as long as people are distracted with the culture war issues, like abortion, they'll continue to get politicians in place to deliver tax cuts and deregulation. Again, that's the entire point of the Republican Party, to do those things and to service the rich. That said, Christian also addressed some people on the left who say that they have criticized him as a hypocrite for supporting his father, while calling out other men for their own marital indiscretions. And of course, yes, that is something that he has done obnoxiously. Now, he decided to defend himself by saying, well, you know, when I criticize other people, I was also implicitly criticizing my dad, you know, because it affected me. Look, I don't care. Honestly, sure, whatever. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it makes sense. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really bothered by that. Like, oh, she's criticizing the left. I'm on the left. I don't really care about his criticism. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't matter to me. Right? And by the way, I just think that as a conservative, if he wants any future in conservative politics or influencing, well, of course he has to throw out criticism about the Democrats. He's got to both sides the whole thing. Whatever. That's just like a normal thing. Expected, I guess. And really, I do. Predictably Republican, as Meliskable says in chat. Look, the thing that I can say about that is his dad pretended to be a great family man, and it turns out that no, the only thing he was good at when it comes to families is creating more families and not taking care of them, and then lying about it for political gain. That's the important thing here. The takeaway from the story. And by the way, if he's going to lie and not take care of his families, what makes you think that he would ever take care of the needs of the voters? So, I mean, that's really how it applies to how he would serve as a congressman.